everybody. Thank you so much for tuning into the Clan Hatton Association YouTube channel. And I have some very special guests on with me that I was so excited to have you meet because they are going to be at Grandfather Mountain Highland Games this year, as they have been, convening for the Clan Hatton Association. And I wanted you all to meet them and show you a little bit more about the Grandfather Mountain Games. So we have here with us Diana DeBrohun, Georgia Godwin, and Barry McPhail. Welcome, everyone. Now, I would like to maybe we'll start with you, Diana. Introduce yourself and let us know how you got involved with the Clan Hatton Association, approximately when that might have been, and then we'll just kind of go from there.
Sure. I think I've been a member of Clan Hatton since 2020. I'm going to say it was one of those pandemic things where I had some time on my hands and was exploring some Scottish ancestry and discovered a connection from my mother's McPhail to McPhail, and from there on to the Clan Hatton Association. So I think that's right, 2021, somewhere around in there.
We're right in there. Well, welcome, and we're so happy to have you. And we're so happy you got involved. And then we have our other two guests, Georgia and Barry. Georgia, would you guys like to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about yourselves?
Sure. I'm Georgia Godwin. I'm not a Clan Hatton member, but I am our associated or allied clan. But I'm very interested, and certainly by way of Barry, because we did, like Diana, we worked on during the pandemic and a little earlier on our ancestry, and on Barry specifically, and discovered his connection to Scotland and his connection to the McPhail clan. And so and then I believe that I'm not sure whether it's 2020 or 2019 that we met Diana and put our heads together, and Diana took the bull by the horns and got and helped us, and we got a tent. And I'm going to defer to Barry to tell the whole story, and I'll chime in a little.
Well, we went to basically on a whim. We went to the 2019 games at Grandfather Mountain, and I started looking around. I said, "Well, heck, where's the McPhail tent?"
Mm-hmm.
That a couple of years of learning ensued in terms of the obstacles and technicalities of how my ancestry fit in with the larger picture, and how we could get ourselves as conveners into the games. But really things didn't start moving until Diana. We met Diana, and we started that collaboration. And she had a lot more success than I did, sort of connecting with the right people to figure out what we needed to do. So where we ended up on this is we did get a tent, a Hatton tent at the games. And the way we're viewing this is there are a number of the Hatton clans that already have their individual tents, but there are a number of smaller groups, that are had never done that. So we've sort of provided a home for the minor clans, or I don't want to call it that, but the folks that for one reason or another didn't have a tent at this particular games. So that we're sort of a general home for all of those people that don't have a named clan at the games.
Mm-hmm. At least those associated with Clan Hatton.
Right.
Yes.
Specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think we met at the Grandfather Mountain Games in 2021 after like corresponding. I think we found each other through Facebook, and
Mhm.
started that conversation about, could Clan Hatton have a tent, at the Grandfather Mountains? Had they in the past? And the administration, the management of Grandfather Mountain was very open to Clan Hatton being at the games, very welcoming. So the first year we hosted in 2022, they made a point, the president of the games made a point to come by, and the honorary chief brought the honorary chief by and introduced him to us. So 2 years, we're pretty newbie when it comes to being at the games, but we learned a lot and we learned fast because the Grandfather Mountain Games are, well, they're huge. They start on a Thursday afternoon with a big calling of the clans ceremony, and then they are all day Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and there's a huge number of people that come. I think that Grandfather Mountain likes to say that they are the largest gathering of clans in the United States.
Yeah.
And so that allows the games in, is it Pleasanton,
Yes.
California, Cindy? I think that allows them to say they are the largest attended Highland Games in the United States. And so they differentiate that way. So that they have the largest attendance, but the Grandfather Mountain Games has the most clans. I don't know whether that's accurate or not.
Well, I believe that it is. And I also believe that Grandfather Mountain has the largest number of clans actually in the world, believe it or not. It actually does. And this is because, and I don't know how many of our viewership have been to the games in Scotland, but they don't have a lot of clans at their different games at the same time. It's just not something that's done. In 2009, during the gathering, they did have I think almost all 80, I'm going to get this wrong, I'll put up on the screen, 87 clans present there, but that was a first in I don't know how many years, maybe hundreds of years. And that's because in Scotland, it's kind of we've talked about this a little bit, it's a thing where depending on which games you go to, you might just be whatever families in that area will be represented and not more than that. And there is a movement in Scotland to change that. But in Scotland, they don't have a clan row and they don't have the clans getting together like they do here in the States. And I think it's such a wonderful and beautiful thing to see. And I just want to thank all of you for all of your hard work on behalf of Clan Hatton Association. I know everyone's very grateful to make sure that we are represented there. And I think it's a huge opportunity for Clan Hatton, for the association to be present there and have a presence there. And so we are very, very grateful to you to make sure that we're represented there at those games. And I've got pictures you've sent to me. I'm going to be sprinkling throughout this video so that people can see what that looks like. We're trying really hard to have a little bit of a digital presence here on the YouTube channel and show people what these games look like. I myself have never been to Grandfather Mountain. I'm going to come in 2025 and be with all of you. Just like I think you guys are coming to Stone Mountain, Georgia this year in October. And I'm very excited about that. I'm throwing excited out there because everybody knows on this channel, there's like 4 words I use all the time. Excited is one of them. So, but I am. So at any rate, I just want to thank you for doing that. Now, do you want to talk a little bit about how the games are set up at Grandfather Mountain? I know that they are quite large. I think everybody should go there. I myself have been to the Pleasanton Games many, many times. I competed with my band in a year where my band was on at 2 p.m. in the afternoon and it was 116 degrees, Fahrenheit. And the
Ooh, that
next
sounds
day,
miserable.
it was a little cooler the next day at 112. Just let me tell you, we call it Unpleasanton. Sorry, Pleasanton friends. We call it Unpleasanton in the pipe band arena. But
Mhm.
Grandfather Mountain's not going to be like this. And I just want to hear from you all, if you want to explain a little bit about the pictures that we're going to be showing and your experience with these games and what people can expect when they attend the games. Barry, would you like to?
Diana?
Oh, go
I
ahead.
was going to defer to Diana.
Okay.
I think she is more of a big picture.
That works, and I can always make that.
Sure. So, the Grandfather Mountain Highland Games are held at MacRae Meadows, which is a state park there in Linville, North Carolina. And the games this year are July the 11th through the 14th. And one of the reasons that everybody should go to the Grandfather Mountain Highland Games is because that area was, one of the areas that was settled by many of the Scottish or Scots-Irish immigrants, who came to the United States in the 1700s to early 1800s. And North Carolina, and I don't know whether this is accurate or not, North Carolina claims to be one of the states that has the highest population of descendants of Scottish immigrants in the United States. And certainly that area was a lot of Scots Irish folks in Western North Carolina and East Tennessee came across the mountains into East Tennessee. And that is also, in case you didn't know, the setting for Jamie and Claire Fraser's home once they come, once they immigrate to the United States. The author of the book, has said that, that's sort of what she visualized, that area, Boone and Blowing Rock, North Carolina. And so I think a lot of people like to go, to kind of do the Outlander thing. And don't they usually have some sort of Outlander connection going on at the games? Yeah, Georgia.
They're looking at sort of an informal Outlander clan
Yeah.
at the games.
And they'll do a parade, and usually they'll have someone, an actor from the TV series, to be the parade master, I guess is what you call them. So, one year it was, what was it? I'm trying to remember his name. He played Murtaugh, the actor that plays that. He was the parade leader, and it was just fantastic. Everybody wore Outlander tartan. There were the Fraser tartan, and everybody was very enthusiastic.
And I should add that if you watch the series, the Grandfather Games are not named, but they actually do appear in the series in one episode. Where,
that's great.
one of the present day episodes, as opposed to the Scottish one, the distant past, a couple of the main characters are dating and end up at the Grandfather Games. They don't call it the Grandfather Games, but it's a big games in North Carolina.
Right.
So
Probably mentioned it's Murda I'm sorry, let me start this over. It's Murda Fitzgibbons Fraser, played by Duncan LaCrew. And
Yes,
he's a good friend. Actually, I just did an interview with him very shortly on this channel with Graham McTavish, who talks about him because they've become great friends, and he's a friend of mine. And they love to go back there. So very fun. That's the area.
yeah.
So Outlander fans, you must go to the Grandfather Mountain Games.
I wanted maybe to describe the area a little bit more. This is just a splendid site. It's a beautiful, big, flat meadow. It's surrounded by forest, and the Grandfather Mountain itself is looming in the background. And there are a huge number of clan tents, surrounding the field. and it's just really a lovely experience.
Beautiful.
They
The
have,
site is
I was going to say they have groves where the music stages are located. That's they call them Grove 1 and Grove 2. And so it is, I think the largest of those has a lovely rock, background that the stage is set against, and everyone's in the woods, and so it's nice and cool. And there's lots of places to get out of the sun, because the weather there at Grandfather varies a lot, Cindy. It's not going to be 112 or 106, but it can be quite warm, and it can also be miserably cold. I think the first it was the first year, so 2022, when we hosted, they have their parade of tartans on Sunday afternoon, I believe, and it was pouring the rain the entire day. The wind was blowing. They actually canceled the games because it was dangerous for the athletes to compete. But the parade of tartans must go on. And so all the fans are out there, and we're getting soaked. And we had recruited a neighbor to carry the Clanhattan tartan flag. He was Julius McPhail, and just happened to be in the tent next door to us with the St. Andrew's Society. And so we're like, okay, a McPhail. So we know that he's got some connection to McPhail. So we recruited him to carry the flag for us. I did not know that the flag bearers have to peel off. After you make your circuit around the field, the flag bearers peel off and stand there with the flags while all 100 and something clans make the circuit of the field. And so he was drenched, and I apologize profusely for not knowing what I was sending him out to do. And then we warmed him up with a wee dram after.
Oh, yes. Oh, well.
There's a lot of people
It
that
was
would have
one.
done that for a dram of whiskey. I know.
Another really minor note, I happened to talk to a lot of the sheriff's deputies and for the local county, because they're providing protection and traffic assistance and such as that. And they're given a dispensation on their uniforms. They're allowed to wear a plain black utility kilt if rather than their regular uniforms for the while they're working in games. I thought that was kind of a nice note.
It's fun.
And it speaks to the prevalence of people of Scottish ancestry in that part of North Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's important to know about the Grandfather Mountain Games is that there is very limited on-site parking. And so attendees, for the most part, park in remote lots and ride shuttles. And so that's sort of an important thing to know if you're going, that's going to be a part of your games experience. And those of us who have gone a few years have learned that the best way to attend is to become a patron, because parking privileges come with being a patron.
It's actually a double-edged sword. It's the parking is extremely limited, and on-site parking is limited more or less to patrons and conveners. But it speaks to the rural beauty of that site. I mean, this is a little town that probably quintuples in size during that weekend. It's basically a crossroads community, and there are no Walmart parking lots or anything like that. So they've had to exercise a lot of ingenuity to get everybody parked. But that also means that it just is a beautiful rural location.
I can only
Yeah,
imagine.
that's the upside.
And I wanted to have you on early in the year as possible, because I was thinking, as with many of these games, people need to make those arrangements starting now, if it's not already sold out, because I know to a lot of the games that are held around the United States, the hotels will sell out. And so it's very important that you need to go on the site, and we'll have the link. I'll put it in a title above us here now on the screen, but also go on the website for the Grandfather Mountain Games. And usually they give you ideas of where to stay. There'll be host hotels, but then others in the area. And you do need to make your accommodations pretty quick and make sure you're all set up and that you understand, as Dinah was talking about, that you need to plan for parking in one of these off-site lots, getting shuttled over, and allow for the time of that. And then quite often they will post somewhat of a schedule online beforehand, so you can kind of know what to expect, and look it over and make sure you're able to go and see what you would like to see, that you're there in a timely manner to be able to do so. I've always wanted to go to these games. I've never been able to. I hope everybody watching wants to go as well. I think it's just so fantastic how many clans they have there. Because as I said, I think this is the largest clan event in the entire world, and it's so important to be able to be there and have a presence. And we're just so grateful to the three of you.
You know, I was going to add, Cindy, that the other Clanhattan clans who have a presence at the games have been very welcoming of us. Probably the McPhersons and the McIntosh are two of the larger ones who have a presence there. And they were really carrying the Clanhattan banner beforehand, you know, and promoting it. And now that we're there, if they, you know, have an affiliated clan, you know, a McThomas or a McPhail or someone that they know is not going to have a clan tent there, they send them to us. And so we love that. And we love having that relationship with them. And we have encouraged the games to put us close together. But they have a very kind of strict way that they move the clans around the field. And so usually we are relatively close. And we're hoping at some point in the future, maybe we can actually be close and, you know, walk together in the parade.
Well, and they're not, a lot of the games aren't used to it. And a lot of people around the world don't understand that what was the Confederation, now the Association, is the only one that ever was in Scotland. And it's hard for people to understand exactly what that is and what that means and the reason why you want to try to be together if you can. And it does require some logistics, I'm sure, planning ahead of time and for them to be able to do that. But it's certainly wonderful of them to try to do that. And then I was just on this morning with our chairman, David McIntosh, who's over in England, who is the chairman for the Clanhattan Association in Scotland. And he was talking about some upcoming things that we have for the association, including our new website, Hooray, which hopefully will be coming out very soon. There is a wonderful mapping project going on for that website of the clans. And so we're hoping, and through this YouTube channel as well, trying to help educate everyone as to what Clanhattan is and what it was, and just going over the history of that, going back to 1291, which is where our manuscripts, you know, take us. And it's hard to believe it's been 8 centuries of this Confederation, now Association. And then we have some great things coming up and plans in the works for our almost 100-year anniversary. 9 years from now, God willing, we'll all be together for that. And so it's an exciting time for the association. I'm so glad to have the three of you on here with me and letting everybody know about the Grandfather Mountain Games. We hope everyone's going to go. And then for those of you who maybe aren't able to attend, hopefully we'll get some pictures, I'm sure, back and maybe some footage. As I say, if time permits, I know you're very, very busy. I just did the Vegas Highland Games this past weekend. And even though they're much smaller, it's busy. When you're hosting a clan tent and people are coming in and out, you are very busy talking with people, which is a wonderful thing. So it's whatever you can do. And we can bring back to the viewers here and for people who maybe can't attend and would like to see what that looks like. And thank you for providing all the wonderful photography and some video footage of what you've done in the past. And thank you for coming on here and sharing with all of us.
Just remember the weather, particularly if you are shuttling, because you may be there all day. The weather in North Carolina is very changeable, so you need to be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Like it were Scotland. Maybe that's why all the Scots settled there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It looks more like it looks a lot like Scotland, but with more trees.
So I know I may be saying this wrong, but this last parade that you were describing, it rained the entire parade. But everyone was very cheerful and said, it's a Drake day. You know, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, but it's just like Scotland. So just get ready to feel like you're in Scotland.
Well, Barry, and you must go to the West Coast, which is very wooded part of Scotland. So you must go and see the very heavily wooded areas, including Moy, actually. So there can be a lot of rain in Scotland. I just know I always carry around one of those plastic ponchos. And even though it's, you know, small, it fits, because in a pinch, it's going to keep you dry and warm. So
Yes.
everyone plan for the weather. And again, thank you all so much. And then hopefully too, I'll be able to show you, Georgia has created some beautiful posters having to do with people from the Clan Hatton Association. And I think maybe you all kind of did it, but you did the Georgia, you did the layout of these posters as I understand it. And there's one of Colonel Anne Farquharson, Lady Macintosh, Colonel Anne. So I'm very excited to see those, and very well done. And thank you for putting those together. I'm excited to take a set to Scotland with me this year. So thank you for that contribution. We greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, she did a wonderful job, and as did Barry, working on all of the copy. The two of them just, we made a really strong impression, I think, for kind of first timers, because our graphics were so beautiful and so much information. So we're a great team.
I would have to agree, and I can't wait to come and see you in action and also spend more time with you in the fall at Stone Mountain. Diana and Georgia and Barry, thank you so very much for all that you do on behalf of the association. And thank you for taking your time to be with me here today to promote the Grandfather Mountain Games. We're very appreciative of everything. We hope everyone will go and attend, and we hope you'll come back maybe after and come back on here and give us sort of a rundown of how it went and some more pictures and photography. And thank you so much. And everyone, don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can see more of what we're doing around the world here on our YouTube channel. And thank you very, very much for tuning in today.
Thank you as well, very much.
Bye
I'm
for now.
glad you're taking this initiative.
Yes, thank you.